We'll jump into today's episode right after this announcement. For over 13 years, something remarkable has been happening. Rural hospitals and other small healthcare organizations that have partnered with Capstone have been achieving results and forming workplace cultures that even we are blown away by. It is truly a game changer when rural hospitals are the provider of choice and employer of choice so they can keep care local and margins strong. Far more healthcare organizations need to experience what's possible. That's why we're stepping forward in a bigger way, expanding our team of experts, expanding our capabilities by adding a strategic planning division to expand our ability to help even more rural hospitals and other healthcare organizations in 2026 and beyond. Capstone will continue to be the partner that small healthcare organizations can count on to meet them where they're at and guide them towards a stronger future. You can learn more at capstoneleadership.net. And I just want to drive home that foundational truth that you can run healthcare without a building. You can run healthcare without technology, without an electronic health record, even without the perfect resources. But you cannot run healthcare without people, full stop, right? You cannot run healthcare without people. It is an industry of people serving people.
Welcome to Culture Change RX, the podcast for healthcare professionals that are committed to creating a thriving workplace culture, improving the experiences of employees and patients, and ultimately unlocking their organization's next level of potential. I'm Sue Tetzlaff, your host and co-founder of Capstone Leadership Solutions. Join me and my insightful guests each week as we share actionable insights for navigating the crucial people side of the business of healthcare. Subscribe now for a weekly dose of Culture Change RX. Now let's dive into this week's conversation where culture change takes center stage.
Welcome to another episode of Culture Change RX. It is me, Sue Tetzlaff, co-founder of Capstone Leadership Solutions and your host of Culture Change RX. Today's episode, as is the theme of this podcast, Culture Change RX, it is all about the people side of healthcare. And I just want to acknowledge the heaviness in healthcare right now. My eternal optimist, of course, wants to turn that into some way, some positivity and some hope. But I just want to acknowledge the heaviness that I see and feel and hear about and assess all around me. Doesn't mean there aren't great things, but I don't always talk about the heaviness, such as staffing losses, emotional fatigue, and the cumulative weight that leaders and caregivers are carrying. And today's episode is prompted by a message on Facebook that I read from a physician assistant. And the message just really strikes me hard in two ways. One is that I know it's not an isolated incident with an isolated provider in an isolated hospital or community. I know it's more widespread than that, and it's just putting voice to that. But it's compounded because this person, the hospital they work for, the community that they live and work in, is special to me. It's close to me. There we go. I had to pause and try to pull myself back together. Keep going here. I'm going to read her message, not the whole thing, but I'll read the opening part of it. Today is heavy. I said goodbye to a coworker who has given years of genuine, compassionate care to our patients. And it's not the first goodbye. We've lost so many talented local providers over the past months. They didn't leave because they stopped loving medicine or the people they cared for. They left because the system that's supposed to support caregivers has become impossible to survive in. That whole message just strikes me to a core. It reminds me why our company exists and the difference we're trying to make each and every day in healthcare. And I just want to validate all caregivers, all staff, all leaders who feel this way and feel similar to this person. And if you felt anything when hearing these words, I guess this episode is for you. And when I saw that post on Facebook, I did respond. Many people responded. There's so many responses, most of them echoing similar sentiments and concerns about being a worker in healthcare right now. But my response to the post was healthcare thrives as a business when it is people and patient centric. It crumbles otherwise. As a strategist, trainer, and coach for dozens of amazing rural hospitals throughout the country, I can attest that when people, service, and quality are truly acted on as the top priorities, the growth and financial impacts are positive. Part of my response was related to further on in the post. She talked about how it seems like finance is the main driver for decisions in the organization where she works for, and people are put near the bottom. And really, to expand a little bit more on my response, is that I've seen dozens of hospitals to try to fix everything except people, and it never works, or at least not for long. And I've seen dozens finally decide to put people, service, and quality first, and everything changes for the better, including growth and finance. Healthcare cannot survive, let alone thrive, without strength in its people pillar. Again, that is the basis of Capstone Leadership Solutions and our work. Even though we have a holistic approach of strengthening people, service, quality, finance, and growth, it is really the levers of people, service, and quality, and particular people that drive that holistic strength of a healthcare organization. That message from a physician assistant, which was really, I think, a voice of many, reflecting the voice of many. My own reaction is sadness, it's urgency, it's concern, and it just simply elevates our commitment for this work we do at Capstone Leadership Solutions. And I just want to drive home that foundational truth that you can run healthcare without a building. You can run healthcare without technology, without an electronic health record, even without the perfect resources. But you cannot run healthcare without people, full stop, right? You cannot run healthcare without people. It is an industry of people serving people. I can paint some imagery here, right? EMS and parking lots, field hospital, disaster response tents. They don't have fancy buildings. They don't have fancy equipment and technology and supplies at their fingertip. It is the magic of the people serving people, their brains, their hearts. People are the infrastructure. People are the system. People are the care. No strategy, no budget, no turnaround plan survives weak leadership or a broken culture. There is no path to growth or success if people are exhausted, unsupported, or leaving. And as many of you know, my background is as a nurse, also with a background in health information management and hospital administration. Most of my time as an executive in small and rural healthcare, more than 22 years, most of that time as a chief nursing officer. And given that I was part of an executive team in an organization that was struggling in the people pillar and otherwise, and then turned that around and had a beautiful, beautiful experience with the people, service, and quality pillar and growth and finances. I can speak from coaching healthcare organizations, serving as a strategist, trainer, and coach to dozens of them. I really feel like I can reveal the deeper truth that leaders might miss. That hospital leaders and governance, they don't neglect employees intentionally, right? They are pulled into crisis, into fires, into compliance, into bureaucracy, into finances. But that's not an excuse, right? But the impact is real. The impact is unstable culture, turnover, strained relationships, leaders losing confidence, patients feeling the effects, and the things that were mentioned in that Facebook post, that physician assistant's Facebook post. And the deeper root cause is the lack of systems for leading people well. No system for culture, no system for leadership, no system for engagement, no system for change. What we've learned in our work is that systems protect people. Systems, not meaning healthcare systems, but culture systems, leadership systems, engagement systems, change systems, goal systems, communication systems. I mean, all sorts of systems and cycles. There are very specific systems that protect people, and people protect the mission. And so, what high performing organizations do differently, and I hope this offers some hope and clarity and direction, is that these organizations turn it around by naming people as a top strategic priority. It makes the plan. It isn't an afterthought. Resources are dedicated and devoted to it, just like you would dedicate resources to your equipment and your building and your new clinics and your new service lines. Also, supporting leaders so they can show up confident, not depleted, so that they can be aligned, so they can be synergistic. And certainly creating those simple, repeatable systems for engagement, communication, quality, and change. And what hospitals also need to do in many cases is to rebuild trust intentionally, brick by proverbial brick, right? We need to rebuild trust. We did a whole healthcare executive forum on trust last year. In essence, we do need to, in our organizations, make it easier for staff to do good work and feel good doing it. Because when the people pillar stands strong, the entire hospital stands strong. So, having called myself a healthcare executive and leader for most of my career, I certainly understand that you carry the weight of an entire organization. Your community needs you to lead a place where caregivers can feel hope again. You don't have to fix everything at once, just the next right thing, and the one after that, and then one after that. If your hospital feels a strain in your people pillar, I want you to know this: you are not alone and you don't have to figure it out by yourself. If you want help strengthening leadership, culture, and engagement, reach out, because when your people stand strong, everything else becomes possible. It's why we do what we do, is to help organization with these things. There are experts out there that help organizations build a building, right? Or replace a piece of technology, or to upgrade their electronic health record. And then there's people like us that help them strengthen the people pillar of their organization so they can be the employer of choice, the provider of choice to keep care local and margins strong.
Thanks for tuning in to Culture Change RX. If you found value in today's episode and you are a believer in fostering change in healthcare, join us in making a difference. Follow, rate, and review our podcast on your favorite platform. Share it with colleagues and your network. Together, we can make a lasting impact. Until next week, keep inspiring positive change.